What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Super Rangers Podcast, the best Power Rangers / Super Sentai podcast on the planet. I am JC Grayson here today, and yes, we did already do a Super Rangers podcast for today, but it is apparently Power Rangers' 23rd birthday, and even though...
Yes.
Okay, whoa. Okay, so yeah, I'm messing up all over the place. So, that was the live stream on the other screen to make sure that's going okay. At full blast. Anyway, yes, I am still sick. It is still the same day as the last podcast, but it's Power Rangers' 23rd birthday. I've got to make some exceptions. So, I still got my sore throat or whatever. I do sound a lot better, I will say. I guess, I don't know. I do sound better, I think. So, I'm still going to whip out the Sprite, drink it up, get rid of that sore throat. Oh, it's also apparently the Big Bang Network's 100th video right now. So, I mean, there might be some private videos in between there, but it is technically the Big Bang Network's 100th video as well. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, sneaking up behind us, drinking Sprite. But, yeah, I think during this podcast, I'm really just going to answer some questions and talk about Power Rangers for a little bit. So, Power Rangers as a whole, I mean, it's my childhood. It's what I grew up with. I mean, it's really the first show, besides Blue's Clues, that I really got invested to. No, I'm kidding. It's really the show I grew up with that I'm still equally as into now as a teenager, from childhood to teenagehood, I guess. And Power Rangers has done a lot for me. It's taught a lot of life lessons. Sprite. I don't know. It's just Power Rangers. It means a lot to me, you know. I mean, there was a point to where I got picked on for liking Power Rangers at school. So I eventually pretended to stop watching it, you know. But then eventually I just came out and said, hey, I watch Power Rangers. If you don't like me for it, deal with it. So, you know, that's pretty much how it goes for me. Other people, however, if they live in bigger cities, you know, they feel the need to hide it, which I understand because, you know, bigger cities, bigger things can happen, you know. And yes, I'm obviously talking about someone in particular, but I'm not going to say who that is because that'd be invading on their privacy. I'm just saying I know people who watch Power Rangers who feel the need to hide it because they're afraid of getting picked on or bullied or whatever. Now I don't think you should really care what you think, but if you live in a bigger city like that, I understand, you know. But yeah, basically I felt like hiding my Power Rangers addiction. It's not an addiction, but I mean, I guess you could be addicted to anything, but I don't think I'm actually, like, addicted to Power Rangers. That'd be kind of weird. But, yeah, so, and I've been watching Power Rangers since pretty much Ninja Storm, and now we're going on to Ninja Steel, which is actually quite interesting. Let's see, Ninja Storm was in, like, 2003. This is going to be... like 14 years later, I think, after Ninja Storm. So it'll definitely be interesting to see Ninja Steel. Now, let's go back to the very beginning, I guess. So, Power Rangers technically did not start with Mighty Morphin, well, at least for American adaptations of Sentai. Power Rangers actually started with a 10-episode dub of Dynaman from Super Sentai. Definitely did not last long at all. It basically it was just like some random dub or whatever of Dynaman. It was actually really, really bad. I wonder why it didn't do too well. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, Super Sentai. If you guys don't know, which you should, Power Rangers is adapted from Super Sentai, and then after a while they tried to adapt Bioman, and that made a pilot, and then it didn't do anything after that. So then eventually they finally decided, hey, let's do Zyuohger, or otherwise known as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and that's pretty much where it finally started. It finally started with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and pretty much that's where it's been for the past 23 years. That's where it all started. So after that, we had okay. Okay, no, pause. Gosh, dang it. Okay, no, jeez, stop. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, another background live stream. Anyway, so then after that, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers got a second season titled Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2. And then after that, there was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, and then we got something a little different. We got a mini-series titled Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers that lasted for 10 episodes, and it was basically sort of a conclusion to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And then after that was Power Rangers Zeo. Power Rangers Zeo was really cool because you finally saw the Rangers in new suits, excuse me. And so it's been different from the norm, you know. I mean, it's the same Rangers as before, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but basically they just finally got new powers and stuff. So then after that, you shifted into Turbo, which after that, the Power Rangers went into In Space. And In Space is pretty much the best Power Rangers season of all time. No arguments. It's just fact. No, I'm kidding. But Power Rangers in Space is one of the best. It really is. It's my favorite overall. It was spectacular. It was a phenomenal season. And then Lost Galaxy, weaker than In Space, definitely. Definitely a big drop off, in my opinion. But I think it's an okay season. I don't understand why people think it's, oh my god, it's the best thing ever, Lost Galaxy. But yeah. So after that is Lightspeed Rescue. I haven't watched too much of that, but I can appreciate it for what it is. It's got the Titanium Ranger, the first official American exclusive Ranger, which is pretty cool. And then after that is Time Force, which Time Force is another one of the best seasons out there. Time Force is just amazing. If you haven't seen Time Force, go watch Time Force. And then after that is Wild Force. Most of the anniversary seasons aren't really that good, in my opinion, and Wild Force is one of those that I think kind of slacks a little bit. I definitely think I don't think it's a terrible season, but it's definitely not one of the best. And then Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm is the one I started off with. I mean, it's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's not. I mean, I like Ninja Storm. It's okay. Just because it's my first season ever watching doesn't mean it's my #1 favorite. So Ninja Storm, it's cool. I like the Crimson Navy Rangers and stuff, or the Thunder Rangers. Those guys are really cool. And then after that is Dino Thunder. I'm doing this all by memory, guys. So Dino Thunder has the return of Tommy. You haven't seen him since No, we haven't seen him since Wild Force. So it's actually not that been such of a long time. But as a main role, you haven't seen him since Turbo. But anyway, so Tommy's back as the mentor and the Black Ranger, and this is a pretty good season. It's at the top of everybody's top 10 lists. I mean, it's definitely in my top 10 list, but it's not my top favorite. I definitely think it's a really good season, like most of the Disney seasons. And yeah, so Dino Thunder, pretty good season. And then after that, it's Power Rangers SPD, pretty much tied with RPM for my second favorite. SPD is just one of those seasons to where, I mean, it's just such a greatly made season. Like, I feel like they couldn't have gone wrong. I mean, they pretty much did what the Sentai did, and that was an amazing Sentai. And speaking of which, Deca Ranger has came back so many times. Like, at this point, I'm pretty sure Deca Ranger has came back more than Go Ranger. Yeah, Deca Ranger is actually coming back again next year with a crossover with Space Hero Gavin, or Gavin, or something like that, and as like a crossover movie or whatever. And that, I am so excited for that. That looks so freaking cool. But yeah, SPD, great season. Pretty much has the most Rangers of any season ever. Because you got Jack, you got Sky, you got Bridge, you got Z, you got Sid, you got Doggy, you got Cat, you got Sam, you got who else? You got Officer Tate, you got Nova, you got Boom, you got Charlie, and then you got A Squad, blue, green, yellow, pink. They do have fan-given names, but I forgot about them. So yeah, that's like, I can't even count right now how many Rangers that is, but that is completely freaking insane how many characters or Rangers there are in that season. So it's got even more than Dino Charge and Jungle Fury, which Jungle Fury has a lot too, and Dino Charge. So yeah, SPD, definitely a great season. Then Mystic Force. Mystic Force is a really great season too. This was my favorite as a kid until RPM came out, and I didn't know what In Space was because, of course, I was a kid. I didn't have Netflix back then. Netflix didn't exist back then, so I had no idea what In Space was. But Mystic Force was my favorite whenever it came out because Megaforce was just the best. Megaforce has such a great story, and by the way, if you hear all these squeaking, it's because I'm on my bed, which is a very squeaky bed. But Mystic Force was just, it had such a great story, especially with Nick and Udana, may she rest in peace, and then Leonbo or Korag or the Wolf Warrior. The Wolf Warrior is one of my favorite Rangers / Korag. Because Korag is Korag is the first unofficial Purple Ranger we've had. Because it's debatable whether you can count him as a Ranger or not. But the first real official Purple Ranger, which is RJ, which we'll get to him later. But yeah, the stuff with Korag and Udana and Nick and all the other Rangers too. All the other Rangers got their time to shine and everything. I just think Mystic Force did it right, and I really think Mystic Force is a great season for you to watch. Operation Overdrive. Oh boy. The Retro Rangers are cool. They were in there for 2 episodes though. Otherwise not. Next, Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury is another one of my top favorite seasons. It's really I don't know. I don't know what it is about Jungle Fury, but just the whole concept is amazing. And it's another one of those seasons. I mean, I forgot to mention this in SPD, so actually we'll go back to that. SPD had a lot of exclusive Rangers too, such as Boom as SPD Orange. He was there for an episode, but everybody loves to count him. Like, how can you not count Boom? And all 5 A-Squad Rangers were American exclusive, and so was Officer Tate, which his suit was pretty much the Red Time Force suit. But Jungle Fury had 3 American exclusive Rangers, which was the Elephant Ranger, the Bat Ranger, and the Shark Ranger. Now, those are really cool because they kind of started off. I'm pretty sure whenever they were released in stores, I saw them. I'm like, oh, cool. They made toy exclusive Rangers. That's cool. You don't normally see that. But then they actually showed up in the show, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, that was really cool to see the Spirit Rangers. The Spirit Rangers were my favorite whenever watching the show. Oh, well, actually, I really like the Spirit Rangers, but really, come on. RJ is the best. RJ, the Purple Ranger, or the Violet Ranger, or the Wolf Ranger, or whatever the heck you want to call him. RJ is just so cool. His fighting style, his suit, his personal style, just everything he does. RJ is just so cool, and how he leads the other Rangers. And then Casey, Lily, Theo, those guys are all great. And then Daishi and Camille, those best villains ever. And then they become Rangers technically at the end. Ranger-like allies, I guess you could call them. But as you can see, if you can spot them out, Daishi and Camille are in this picture. So technically, Camille is the first female Green Ranger, which that's cool. And then, actually, I just completely blanked out on what I was going to say. But yeah, Jungle Fury, really cool season. And now, let's move on to RPM. RPM. What is there to say about RPM? That is just... RPM, if you ever want a dark and gritty Power Rangers season, go watch RPM. Because that's pretty much the best you're going to get. I mean, we haven't seen the Power Rangers movie yet, but Power Rangers RPM is pretty much this post-apocalyptic, everybody's dead, the only people left are in this domed city called Corinth, and basically, the end of the world has already happened. Like, basically, this is the end of the world. Like, they've already lost, right? And so, basically, the only thing left is the domed city of Corinth, and it's basically the evil virus Vengex accidentally created by Dr. K. It basically is trying to wipe out the rest of the human race. But then the Power Rangers RPM have to stop Vengex, or else the human race will literally be wiped out of existence, because it's literally just one city left. Everybody else is dead. Right? Like, you don't normally see a lot of death in Power Rangers, but in this season, everybody's dead except for the people who are lucky enough to get to the Dome City of Corinth. So, yeah, and then this is one of the few seasons to where the Red Ranger is actually not the protagonist. It's actually the Black Ranger Dylan, which I really like. And then one of my favorite Rangers, Ziggy, is in this season. As a kid, I just loved Ziggy. He was just one of the coolest Rangers ever. I just loved his sense of humor and everything. He reminded me of me. And yeah. So Ziggy, one of my favorite Rangers. And then after this, Disney canceled the show, and basically this season aired in 2009, and in 2010 we got a terrible Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reversion. Imagine the cheesiness and the weirdness of the Batman 1966 series. Now, I'm not talking crap about that show. I love the Batman 66 show, but that was made in 1966. We're getting the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reboot / reversion or remake in 2010, and you're doing this 60s crap. What the heck were they thinking? Terrible. It's on Netflix for some reason listed as season 18. If you go to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers thing, if you really want to watch it, it's terrible. I don't know why they listed it as season 18, but yeah, moving on to the actual season 18, Power Rangers Samurai. Um, Power Rangers Samurai, it's coming back from the show being canceled and to a completely new network with new standards, right? And Saban's back as well. So, I mean, for what it was, it's okay, but it's pretty low on the list, right? So, Power Rangers Samurai, it's okay. I mean, give it a watch if you want. But, I mean, if you're trying to watch all the seasons and stuff. But, moving on to Power Rangers Super Samurai. And this is at the rock bottom of my list, right? Power Rangers Super Samurai is the season that made me want to quit watching Power Rangers, right? Power Rangers Super Samurai is the season that made me say, look, after Megaforce, I'm done, right? This is before the legendary battle was known to be a thing, so obviously I gave the show a second chance for Super Megaforce, and spoiler alert, I'm a Super Megaforce defender. I don't hate that show. Megaforce is crap, but we'll get to that. Super Megaforce is, in my opinion, you might have a different opinion than me, but I actually really, really enjoyed Super Megaforce, and I think it's a good season. Anyway, back to Super Samurai. It's the reason why I almost quit watching the show. And so, yeah, Super Samurai, I mean, Lauren, great actress, great ranger, one of my favorites. She's in my top 10 favorite Rangers list. But whenever she came in, the Rangers almost acted sexist to her, I feel like. And it was just kind of like, oh, you're not Jaden, so blah, 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 blah. And I get that Jaden was their leader before, but he almost died in battle, right? So come on, guys. Like, you cannot be treating Lauren like crap because she is not Jaden. All right, you know what? I'm done talking about Super Samurai. Oh, and Kevin, one of the worst Rangers of all time. I mean, I don't have anything against the actor, but Kevin might be the stalest Ranger ever. Like, he has no character, no nothing. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's the actor, because Megaforce definitely isn't the actors. It's the writing. So I'm assuming that this is probably the writing too. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention Bulk and Skull. Bulk and Skull, if you watch Power Rangers. I haven't mentioned them until now. But Bulk and Skull actually Bulk and Skull's son, Spike, were in Samurai and Super Samurai. It was cool. I mean, I wish they would have went on past Samurai, because it would have given some recognition to the franchise. Like I remember hearing stories about kids going like, what? These aren't the Power Rangers. They're not the Samurai Rangers whenever Megaforce came out. And so I kind of feel like if Bulk and Spike came back for Megaforce, I feel like that would have kept that recognition for young kids and stuff like that. But anyway, moving on to Megaforce. Megaforce, the first season of Megaforce is a terrible season. It has no point. They should have moved straight to Gokaiger. They should have done the anniversary crap first. And Megaforce, the first season of Megaforce is completely pointless. There's no reason for it to happen. The only good thing that came out of that season was Robo Knight. And tell me this, without looking it up, I'm not talking about Vrock. Do you even remember the name of the main bad guy of Megaforce? Because at the top of my head, for a while, I couldn't remember it. I mean, everybody remembers Brock because he was the guy who did stuff, but he wasn't the main bad for the first season of Megaforce. So, if you can without looking it up, remember the name of the main bad for Megaforce. You'll get a shout out. You'll get a channel shout out, and I'll subscribe to you on YouTube. And yeah, so moving on to Super Megaforce, Super Mega Force, great improvement for Mega Force. I feel like Super Mega Force is the only season that did the super seasons right, and that is actually giving them new suits with their new powers. Like it's kind of like a Mighty Morphin going into Zeo thing. You saw these suits, and then now here's some new suits. My only complaint about it is the random Sentai crap that they pulled. I really got frustrated every time they did that, and then they didn't acknowledge the pirate thing at all. I mean that's my only really gripes with Super Mega Force. Otherwise than that, most of the episodes are, I feel, greatly written. They give most of the characters some good development in this season, and a lot of these episodes are written by Jason Smith, who was the Red Jungle Fury Ranger, and he even appeared in an episode of Super Mega Force. So yeah, and then the Legendary Battle. Do not watch the actual episode version. The actual episode version of the Legendary Battle is complete and utter crap. Because they try and cram all this into like a 30-minute episode, and it doesn't work. But don't worry, I got you covered. Because on Netflix, there's actually a Legendary Battle movie, kind of. Oh, I forgot to mention something else too. The movies. I'll get to that after everything, actually. But there's a Legendary Battle movie on Netflix. It's basically it's called Power Rangers Super Mega Force: The Legendary Battle Extended Movie, and it's basically a better version of the Legendary Battle. But otherwise than that, overall, I think Super Mega Force is a great improvement over Mega Force, and I think it's a pretty good season overall. Then you go to Dino Charge, which is a huge improvement over everything we've seen in the last, 4 years, from Samurai to Super Mega Force. Dino Charge is one of the best seasons of all time. They did a great job. We got Chiplin back. We got a whole new writing team, and they really improved this time. They really listen to the fans, and Dino Charge, huge improvement. We got our first Gray Ranger, the Graphite Ranger. The first time there was no Yellow Ranger in a season, and great season. But then you move on to Dino Supercharge, and then they have a huge decline again. Basically, Dino Supercharge. First of all, they call themselves Power Rangers Dino Supercharge without actually having a power-up called Supercharge Mode. Well, I mean, they did it in the second episode before they had the Dino Super Drive or something. So they call themselves Power Rangers Dino Supercharge before they haven't even a power-up. And then the T-Rex Supercharge Red Ranger is only for the Red freaking Ranger. So the Supercharge mode is only for the Red Ranger, so there's no reason for the whole team to call themselves Power Rangers Dino Supercharge. And then half the season already is only filler. However, this very recent episode that they came out with, great episode. Introduced the Silver Ranger, has every Ranger in it besides Talon. And overall, great episode. Hope the rest of the season are like this, but they shouldn't have waited till episode 10 to up the quality. It should have been a full season, great quality thing. And then moving on, Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Now this is going to be next year's season, and overall I think the trailer looks nice, the cast looks nice. I'm a little concerned about the Gold Ranger because I really don't want the Morph to be a hamburger. But other than that, Ninja Steel, it looks great. There's actually a picture with the Red Ranger Brody in a picture with the Yellow and Blue Ranger. Now they're all in their suits and stuff. Now everybody's holding a Ranger. I mean, their Ranger helmet, except for Brody. He's holding the red Zyuohger helmet, right? So now here's how super seasons normally work. The super season normally gets announced with the normal season, like whenever Dino Charge got announced. We saw trademarks happen for Power Rangers Dino Supercharge, right? As far as we all know, there's no trademark filed for Power Rangers Ninja Super Steel or whatever they want to call it. So here's my theory. Next season is going to be the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers. After Ninja Steel, sorry. So the season after Ninja Steel will be the 25th anniversary. Zyuohger, the current season for Super Sentai, the one we're talking about, is the 40th anniversary of Super Sentai. So I think they're going to pull a Super Mega Force, but instead of calling it a Ninja Super Steel, they could completely change the name. Right? It's going to be I think they're probably going to keep the cast, because why else would Brody be holding the freaking helmet? But they're going to completely drop the Ninja Steel name and call it Power Rangers Animal Force, or Power Rangers Animal Squadron, or Power Rangers Animal Kingdom, or something. And it's going to be a completely different motif. And if they do that, all power to you. I think that'd be really cool. And, it works for Super Mega Force, in my opinion. Now, I realize a lot of people will disagree with me on that. But, I think it could definitely work. I think they should definitely go that route, because Ninja Steel doesn't really have too many anniversary things that America footage can use, because like Aka Ranger, you can't really use him. Jiraiya, you can't use him. You could do the ninja crossover, I guess, but technically the Alien Rangers never acknowledged the ninja motif. They're really just Alien Rangers, so it'd be kind of pointless to do that. I don't think it would make sense for the story for them to do that, because the Alien Rangers never acknowledged being ninjas at all, having a ninja motif. So I don't think that could really work. Although Magi Yellow did appear, so I guess if they want to put Mystic Force Yellow in there, it really wouldn't make any sense, because Chip from Power Rangers Mystic Force kind of got the least character development out of all of them, so it really wouldn't make any sense. Nobody would really be asking for it. Don't get me wrong, I really like Chip. I think it's a really cool Ranger. I like the actor too. He also played as Sentinel Knight, so he played as two Rangers, but I really don't think that would make sense. But for Zyuohger, here, this next week, Gokaiger is showing up. So you can have the Super Mega Force Rangers come up. And then they're having this Super Animal War over there. I don't really know if they could adapt that. They would probably have to use pretty much all American footage for that. But if they want to have a Super Mega Force and like Power Rangers Animal Kingdom crossover, they could easily do that, because they're doing a 2-part episode in Japan for a crossover with Gokaiger and Zyuohger. Isn't that so cool? Because, oh my gosh, like they had the last anniversary season with the current anniversary season. I think that's just so neat, and they could definitely do that if they did Power Rangers Animal Kingdom for the 25th anniversary. Now let's move on to movies. So we got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. It's basically based off of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's basically set in an alternate universe, different from the show. And they basically introduce the ninja powers, which they redo in the show, so it's not really canon. But I like Ivan Ooze. I like everything about the movie. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a masterpiece of a movie or anything, but it's definitely, I can appreciate it as a Power Rangers movie. Power Rangers Turbo, the movie. Introduce Justin as our wonderful 11-year-old Blue Ranger. Terrible idea. The only good thing about Turbo is the Phantom Ranger. I like the Blue Centurion too, actually, but otherwise than that, Turbo's pretty much crap. And then after that, we have Power Rangers Samurai, Clash of the Red Rangers, the movie. It's basically a crossover between RPM and Samurai. It's not really that good. Scott doesn't even demorph, the Red RPM Ranger. He doesn't even demorph because he's afraid he can't breathe the air. So if he could breathe the toxic air outside of Corinth from the world that's already destroyed, you don't think you can breathe in a version of Earth that is completely clean? That makes no freaking sense. And it's pretty much I guess the thing that finally acknowledged Mike and Emily potentially having a relationship, which they do at the very end. Overall, it's not really that good, and the fight's really short. I mean, they don't really fight for too long, and even when they do fight, it's just like oh, I hate you, you're mean, nah, 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 nah. And it's pretty much some 5-year-old fight. And we don't get to see any of the other RPM Rangers besides Scott, which makes no sense at all. I mean, okay, pretty much not really that good. And then you got Power Rangers Super Mega Force Legendary Battle Extended Edition movie. It's basically an extended edition of the Wrath and the Legendary Battle. It's pretty good. It's better than the original episodes. So, and it's got some original footage in there. I mean, the fight with Emperor Mavro is longer and better. And you get to see some new Ranger mode, like Legendary Ranger modes. Like you get to see like a Battleizer Ranger mode and stuff. So that's really cool. And then you got the new movie coming out in March, Power Ranger, Saban's Power Rangers, or Power Rangers the movie. And we don't really know what to think about it yet. We've only really seen pictures. We haven't seen a trailer. We haven't seen really any footage at all. So that's pretty much it so far. We really don't really know what to think about that. And that's pretty much a brief history of Power Rangers for you. I was going to do my top 10 Power Rangers, but, I mean, it's already been like 36 minutes, so I think that would probably add like another 36 just talking about it and repeating some of the same stuff I've already said. So that'll probably be for another day. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this special 23rd birthday edition of the Super Rangers podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week on the Super Rangers podcast. See y'all. Have a good one.